Hi, I'm Mike from 1A Auto. We've been selling auto parts for over 30 years.
What's up guys, I'm Andy from 1A Auto. Today I'm going to be installing these front struts in this 2007 Mini Cooper S. If you need these parts or other parts for your vehicle, click the link in the description and head over to 1aauto.com. Anytime you do any kind of front end repair, you're going to want to go to a local shop and have your vehicle aligned because you don't want to end up with premature tire wear. All right, we're going to remove this center cap. I'm going to take a straight blade screwdriver. You're going to find where the slot is. There's a little slot in this, and then just pry it out. Just like that. It's a little slot right there on that one. These other ones don't have the slot. Then I'm going to take a 17mm socket and a breaker bar. We're going to crack these lug studs free. Just loosen them up a little bit. Then we're going to raise and support the vehicle. Take my socket, remove these lug studs. Then when I come to the last one, I'm going to put pressure on the wheel so it doesn't fall. Remove the last lug stud, or lug bolt, whatever you want to call it. Take that out, and I can grab the wheel, pull it off. All right, I'm going to just turn this wheel to the side a little bit, and I'm going to take this nut off. I'm going to use a 16mm wrench, and we'll use an Allen key, a 5mm Allen. The Allen is going to hold the stud while we remove the nut. You can use a little rust penetrant on here if you have to. Just like this. I'm going to put the ratchet on tighten so that it holds the stud, and loosen it up with the wrench. Once it gets kind of loose, then I can use the ratchet to help me out. All right, now it's loose enough, I can just do it by hand. Take the nut off, and I can slide this. Slide that link right out like that. Next I'm going to slide this sensor off this clip that's on the strut, and then this brake line, brake hose, just slide this rubber grommet off that retainer right there. I'm going to take a 18mm wrench, 18mm socket, and a ratchet. The wrench I'm going to use on the back side over here. Right there, and that's just going to hold the bolt from spinning. And then on the front side, I'll use the socket and the ratchet. Loosen up this nut. Once it's loose, take it off by hand. We can slide this bolt out. If the bolt struggles to come out, you can tap it with a hammer. Now I'm going to take a hammer. I want to tap down on the knuckle right here. Be careful when you're doing this. You might have to move this steering to the side a little bit while you're doing this. So that seems to work best if you turn it towards the outside. And we'll slide this out of the way. So the strut's just going to hang like that, and the suspension will just stay there. The hose, there's no tension on the hose, so that's fine. All right, I need to take these nuts off right here. I'm going to use this 13mm wrench for this back one because it's hard to get a socket on this back one. Just loosen it up. Take this one out completely. Then I'll take a 13mm socket and a ratchet. We'll loosen these up. This one and this one. take this one off. And with the last one on there, I'm gonna have to support the strut from underneath. I'll just grab it with my hand while I loosen this with my other hand. Once those are loose, I can slide this down. I'm just gonna slide this down here. Once I can clear this, slide it out, just like that. Here's our old strut assembly. Here's our new strut assembly from oneaauto.com. Comes with a new spring. You've got this boot in the middle. The strut is the same shape. The brackets on the bottom are the same. Comes with a strut mount with the nuts. Get yours at oneaauto.com and you'll be ready to rock and roll. All right, we're gonna install this underneath first. Just slide this in. And then this top part, you're gonna wanna keep in mind that little nub there that's gonna line up with a hole up top. And slide this up top. Oops. Just like that. See, it's gonna go right there. We'll take the nuts. Get these started. So as they're started, then I can start tightening these down with a 13mm socket. And I can't really get on this one too well, so I'm just gonna use my 13mm wrench. If you have a ratchet wrench, this would be a good place to use it. Snug that up. All right, now we're gonna use a torque wrench and our 13mm socket. We're gonna torque these down to 25 foot-pounds. This one's a little tricky to get onto. I'll just use an extension on this one. And that worked. All right, so we're gonna slide this lower part of the strut out and try to pull the knuckle out. Get that to line up like that. You're gonna have to turn the strut, turn the knuckle. There is this bracket right here that goes in a slot on the back side of the knuckle. So you want that lined up in the back there. And I'm gonna put a floor jack or a jack stand underneath this lower control arm. You could also use a floor jack and actually physically pump it up. But with how we're using it with a 2-post lift, this is an easy way to do it. I'm gonna lower the vehicle down a little bit. I'm gonna have to constantly come back, just line this up a little bit. Make sure these are not in the way. Be careful while you're doing this. You don't want to get your fingers pinched back there. You can just wiggle it back and forth. Just gonna take a hammer. You can tap the strut a little bit, tap the knuckle up. Now what you're trying to do is to make sure that bracket, when you go to put the bolt in the hole, you want to make sure that that lines up, which it does. So I will slide it in the back side, going the correct way. I can install the nut. You can put a little anti-seize on here. It'll help if you ever have to replace it in the future. So while I'm going to hold that bolt from the backside with the 18mm wrench, I'm going to torque this with my 18mm socket and the torque wrench. I'm going to torque this to 73 foot-pounds. All right, that's good. Now we can reinstall this wire into this bracket. Just line that up. And then on this backside over here, take that brake hose and take that grommet and just push it on, just like that. Now slide this link into the top part of the strut. I'll take this nut, slide this on. Let's take a socket and a ratchet. Get this tightened down. If it starts spinning, then I can use the wrench and then use an Allen, like how we took it off. I'm gonna take a torque wrench in my socket. On the top, I'm gonna use an extension, and I'm gonna torque this to 41 foot-pounds. All right, now we're gonna install the tire, but before I do that, I'm gonna use these tools that we actually sell at 1A Auto, and they actually will line the wheel up for us. It'll actually help and assist while we're installing the tire. Because this doesn't have lug studs, we'll just slide this in place. That way it makes it easier to install the tire. You can grab the lug studs and get these started, or lug bolts. I'll get these two installed. Once those are installed, then I can take these two tools out, and I can install the other one. All right, now I'm going to take a 17mm socket and just snug these down before I lower the vehicle. Now we're going to lower the vehicle. Now I'm going to take a 17mm socket and a torque wrench, and I'm going to tighten these lug studs to 88 foot-pounds. I'm going to do this in a cross pattern so that it torques the wheel down evenly. I'll just go over it again real quick, make sure. Good and tight. Now I'll take the center cap. I want to line this groove up with this right here. And lock it in place.
Thanks for watching. Visit us at 1AAuto.com for quality auto parts, fast and free shipping, and the best customer service in the industry.